Hello everybody and welcome to my vlog. I didn't give a notice. I keep on saying I'm going to give a notice, but I haven't given a notice. I didn't schedule this. I just happened I've not had Wi-Fi for the past several days, and so I just reconnected my Wi-Fi subscription, and I'm in the process of downloading 3 videos that ago. Vlogs for the past couple of days. And so while I'm waiting, I decided why not come online. Whoever I'm going to find here is going to rock with me. So welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Josephine. I am Kenyan, living in Kenya. I'm going to be turning 60. This is my birthday month. Yes, and I give thanks and glory to God for having come this far. It's been quite a walk, but I appreciate it so much. I absolutely do not take it for granted. I know it's so much grace. We've seen very many go before us, people who are even younger. And so having health and having happiness and having family and friends and being able to move every day with not so much restriction because of where I live, because of who I am. I appreciate it so much, especially in the view of what's happening in the world right now. There's so much war. There are so many people who do not know if they're going to wake up tomorrow because of their countries being at war, because of neighboring countries being at war, because of their political and elected leaders making decisions that are absolutely bad and absolutely wrong, and interfering in other countries' businesses, or interfere in their own country being interfered with. So we give thanks every day. I decided to do this while I'm waiting, so I'm just going to keep on waiting. Actually, I'm downloading the other videos. Yeah, so I'll just stay on here and yes, and chat with you. I don't know whether I've done the settings for this correctly. Let me just check. There seems to be something that I'm missing, and I can't see the timer on this, so I might have not set something right, because I'm supposed to be seeing the timer as I go on the screen, but I'm not seeing the timer showing. So let me see if there's something I've done wrong. I still can't see the timer. I don't know what's okay. Yeah, I've seen it. It's just in a different place. I think the setting just changed from what the laptop setting just changed, or rather maybe I changed it without knowing. Either way, I welcome you again to my vlog and my live stream for today. It's been quite a while. I've missed you all. I don't know about you, but I've missed you all. I mean, I realized for the days that I didn't have my Wi-Fi up and running, I realized that I've gotten into such an affiliation with my viewers. I like you all so much. I appreciate so much being with you all, preparing content for you, editing the content for you. It's just a different life that I've adapted and which I like very much. The stuff that is happening in the world right now, I have my personal views, but I came to realize that maybe because of my viewers, and you see, when you become a YouTuber, you have to be so, when you're in the public eye, like now being a YouTuber, you have to be very careful about some sentiments, especially political sentiments, because they may affect you adversely. I have my views on the countries being attacked and the attackers, but in respect of a lot of my viewers, in respect of family, I'm not going to air those views. But for those who know me very closely, very well, they know what my opinion is about the attackers and the countries attacked. So I'll just say that it's a great pity for the people who are in the countries that who are getting affected because other nations have interfered in their own business. And I'll just leave it at that. It's a very sad situation. Back home here, the politics is brewing up pretty well. I can't say badly. I can just say pretty well. It's the usual shenanigans. There's always the cry for we need a change, we need a change, but with the electorate, we always make the same mistakes of voting in people who come and talk so nicely, and then we don't do the check on their backgrounds. I listened in to somebody yesterday talking on radio. Yes, because I've been listening in a lot to radio because I didn't have the Wi-Fi on. And so he's also vying. He's an aspirant for one of the seats that will be upcoming for election soon. And they were decrying the fact that we don't do background checks on leaders. And, we should make sure that they have the relevant papers, the relevant experience. We should find out and veto them so thoroughly that we know whether they have criminal records and all that. And still, that's not a standard. That's not a standard. I mean, integrity is usually thrown out of the window when we elect people into leadership. People will come in, they have all the criteria that we think is correct, but give it 1-2 years, they get into their respective seats, and then money starts changing hands. The biggest threat we have to our country here in Kenya is corruption. Because no matter what kind of good leaders you have, we know what happens. Once they get into those seats of power, and then there are bills to pass, and then there are decisions, national decisions to be made, and then there are budgets to be passed. Just a quick buck changes people. They get in, they get the perks, and then as they are being told, as they're being inducted into their respective seats, they start getting backhand information that, once you're here, don't worry, you'll not quite be compromising the people who elected you. But what's going to happen is that sometimes we're going to require you to act in a way that is contrary to what they believe, but this is how you'll talk to them to make them think that you don't really mean that you mean what you're saying when you really don't mean what you're saying, but in fact you're working for us. I mean, corruption is just the biggest thing that we have to kill in this country. And the only way to do that is to insist upon complete transparency to levels that are uncomfortable for the elected leaders. Absolutely. That's the only way. I mean, following down every single claim that they make, following it up, making sure we have receipts of everything to prove that it is correct. Underhand deals are everywhere all the time. So we must make sure that when something is going on and there's a tender being given, we have the nitty-gritty. We are comparing rates. We are thoroughly checking the people who've been given the tender. We are checking exactly how much money is paid, how it is paid, who it is being paid to, whether there's a discrepancy in the kind of channels that are being used. Is it the same banks only that are being used all the time? Is it not? I mean, there's so much. There are so many ways to check on transparency with our local leaders, but they've devised so many ways of tricking us so that sometimes even at barazas, where we're supposed to be vetting some processes, they'll bring in what we commonly call goons, paid goons who will stand in as other members of the public or as part of the area residents to come in and agree to everything that they are saying and clarify that yes, they're in acceptance of what is being presented, when in actual fact there are people who know very well that we need numbers of people coming in, persons just coming in to say that they've accepted what we are giving, what we are offering, what it is that we are saying, what we're going to do. And then referendums are passed, and then bills are passed, and then documents are signed. And the next thing you hear is that the residents of this and this area had agreed in a certain meeting that this could go on, that we could pay this contractor, that we could do this project, that we could veto this project, that we could receive this money, that we could do this project rather than the other one. And that's why there's a lot of argument, a lot of time between the elected leaders and the persons that they're representing. You know, projects will spring up. The projects that the residents want and what the leaders will normally bring are two different, but they'll go and claim that the budget was met. They'll show fake papers for everything, fake documentation for everything. And that's why I keep on insisting that unless there's total transparency that makes elected leaders uncomfortable, the discomfort they have is because they do not want a lot of transparency. They do not want receipts to be available for all persons, I mean for their voters. And until we have voices as voters, collective voices that insists upon seeing receipts for everything, upon documentation, proof of documentation for everything, we are still going to go and get conned. But be as it may, I dislike talking about our leaders because overall they've been such a disappointment, especially the political ones. So let's talk about something else. It's rainy season. I didn't get planting this time. What I've planted instead are seedlings, flower, a thorny bush. Should I call it a bush or a flower that I've planted along all the fence? I've planted a banana and just some herbs, but I haven't really planted any crops this season. I'm hoping I'm going to soon. Part of the reason for that was because I had financial constraints, but I think I'm going to just invest in trees only. I'm not going to do any maize or anything of the sort. In the first place, it's expensive, it's taxing. In the second place, this rain is so unpredictable. It's raining very hard now, yes, but I have my doubts. We live in Ruai and we've seen the climate change so much in the past 10 years. And even right now, if you walk around, you know, you may be so surprised. A lot of people were so skeptical about this rain that on average, less than 50, I can say about maybe 30% of people have accepted to get into their farms and plant any crops because we are so used to getting disappointed. It either rains very heavily or the rain is less than expected, and then the crop doesn't mature to fruition and you're not able to harvest anything. And like the last crop that we planted, we didn't manage to get anything. So I myself, I'm just going to plant trees. I'm going to invest in trees. I'm going to invest in fruit trees and also extra fencing again. I had an invasion into my property, and that's in one of the videos that I've done. I talk about the Maasais invading our lands because they forcefully feed their herds of cattle in our lands, and usually they'll come when there's a bit of crop or residue of crop, and then they come and just forcibly allow their cattle to feed, and that's it. It's done for you. When it's not them coming to do that, you'll normally make a decision. Am I going to use this as manure? Am I going to sell this off to people who have livestock in their homes and then get some money out of it? And then you can get a bit of returns into what you had invested in planting that crop. But that's all in one of the videos where I talk about Maasai herders. The system is telling me about something more than one in error. Okay, I don't know what that is, but I can see it's not affecting the video, so I'm just going to go on. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do in investment in planting this season. And I'd like to advise you. Oh, welcome to the chat. I see I have one person in attendance. I'd like to advise anybody who will be watching this now or later on, if you have a piece of land, don't let this rain pass by. If anything, plant a tree. I always advise people, just plant trees. You'll never go to a loss in planting trees, because a year from now, a few months from now, years from now, you're going to enjoy the fruits of that, whether it is trees for fencing, whether it is trees for beauty, whether it is trees for the wood, whether it is trees because it's fruit trees or something. The time is always on your side. If you plant now rather than tomorrow, rather than next month, rather than next year, that means you have an advantage of time. And trees, once you plant trees in the rainy season, that assures you that they're going to root. And then after that, you'll not need any caring for them. You're not watering them. You're not taking care of the animals, because usually when it's also raining so heavily, majority of the herbivores have so much to eat that they'll not go for the trees. The grass is so plenty, and the grass comes in different types, so that there are certain types of weeds that grow that are like herbs to them. And so the animals will refrain from, the herbivores will refrain more from eating the leaves of trees and concentrate on what's on the ground because of the wide variety they have. And I'm just praying that what I'm planting this time is going to take root. I also have a lot of extra seed of some trees, so I think I'll be distributing that to relatives and friends. Construction is at a slow, almost at a stop right now in Ruai, where I live, because in the rainy season, it's very difficult for trucks to. I need to get a table. I just realized that the other day, even if I'm going to get a table for putting on my lap, the ones that are like, what do you call it? Like, the ones that you can serve somebody if they're in bed. Yes, I think I need to get that, because I don't have a dining table and I don't have a high table that I can use for placing my laptop. But I noticed watching my live streams in back that my laptop moves a lot because I'm putting it on my knees. And so it keeps on, and that's not comfortable for you viewers. So I think I'm going to get something that I can put on the seat. It can cover both sides of my hips, but it's just like a short stool. And then I can place the laptop on it, and then it can also be at good eye level. I'm always trying to shift it on my legs to be at a good level for how I can appear within the screen. And at the same time, sometimes my legs get tired, and that's why you see me shifting. But I noticed that doesn't look very comfortable. So apologies for that. Everything is one step development at a time. I appreciate so much the fact that the channel is growing. I know I'm still at 164 viewers, subscribers, but I've noticed that the numbers keep on growing for how many people have viewed, and viewership is very, very, very crucial. Even if the subscribers are still at a low, it is the viewership in the end that really comes to determine how many subscribers you have and how far the channel is going to be. How can I say it? Is going to be referred, by the algorithm. So I'm very grateful to all of you who view, because whenever you view, then that's an additional reference for me from whoever it is that is viewing, for other people within their region and then within their age group or stuff like that, because it picks so many details from the person. I'm very glad that within the East African region, apart from, of course, from the ongoing war in the DRC, and of course what has been happening in Ethiopia, I'm glad that in the region, at least for now, we are silent on atrocities against persons. I'm praying that what happened to Tanzania is going to get to a level where people are going to be held accountable, and we'd like to see issues like what happened in The Hague. We'd like to see people being taken forward to international crime courts for crimes against humanity. That was very, very sad. What happened in South Sudan, I'm going to refrain from talking about that because it's very linked right now in with the wars that that are going on and the interferences by nations on others and bombings on certain places. And again, like I said, to avoid crossing sentiments with some of my viewers, I'm not going to expound on that. But all I can say is that karma always works. Yeah, and with all that is going on in the Middle East now, and with Iran and the Zionists and the US, yeah, karma is working out. May justice be found for the Sudanese. I'm also very glad that the issues of femicide have dropped, but infanticide is so much on the high worldwide. The Epstein files pulled out such a horrible, horrible show of what is happening that people are silent about because the players happen to be so such powerful persons. And again, justice delayed is justice denied. This is justice that is going to be and is and continues to be denied for so many children worldwide. And I don't know what miracle is going to happen in the world for these so powerful people to be held accountable sooner rather than later. Somebody came on here and, well, privately, and I don't know if it's you who's here, and told me that I shouldn't rant on for a full hour, that maybe I should make topics of interest and everything. But you see, the purpose of a live stream, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. Of course, I much appreciate your recommendation. The purpose of a live stream is for you to just talk. Is for you to just talk your views, talk out your heart, and talk to your viewers and talk to your subscribers. And so for me, when I pick these moments to come here and do a live stream, I'm just shooting off the head. Just what's in my heart. I prefer for it not to be pre-planned so well, so articulately, to have this topic and then that topic and that topic. No. I instead prefer to leave that to my channels, because now I have to also have the LEM Foundation. I prefer to leave that for the channels where it's very set, it's very dedicated, it's very programmed. But for this, I don't want it to be programmed. This is with due respect to your views. But I want my live stream to be very spontaneous. I want you, my viewers, and you, my subscribers, to just hear me out as Josephine speaking from the bottom of her heart. If I'm very inconsistent, maybe sometimes I am very inconsistent. If I happen to be very harsh, then just take it that Josephine sometimes can be very harsh. If I just sound like I'm rambling, please know that sometimes Josephine can just ramble on without direction. I want you to know the real me. And the real me is not a programmed sort of person. No. Actually, spontaneity. That one. Yeah, that one. That one is me. I like to do things spontaneously. It describes me much more than meticulously organized and planned and everything. That's not me. I'm a very artistic creature. I'm a very creative person. And so order for me looks very different from order of somebody else who likes things to go in schedules, who likes things to be very pre-planned and very organized. No, organization in my life looks very differently because I put first and foremost the feelings and hopes of others first. And if putting feelings of other people means putting chaos into organizations, then I am going to be the queen of disorganization. Yeah, that's in a nutshell, that's how I'd like to tell you about who I am. And once you get to know me, you'll know that I have organized chaos within my life, but it's all because I'm a people first person. And in putting people first, I also consider feelings of other people very, very, very much, and hopes of other people, and aspirations of other people. And I feel people very much, so that not just because I have empathy, but because sometimes I can foresee, I can I can almost draw out what it is that is aching people. And so I like first to satisfy the need that is in people, not satisfy in the sense of like try to bring peace to them in any way that I can, and then dive into what it is that we needed to do together. Just put the person at peace first. So my deepest apologies, because I must apologize, because that is why I'm a different kind of ordinary. Yes, ordinary would like things to be very ordinary, to be very organized, to be very pre-planned, to be very on schedule. But I'm different. I'm not built like that. Yeah. Another thing is that I'm still with my nephew. He's coping on so well. He's now gotten to know when I'm vlogging, when to be quiet. He was actually, I realized that he'd just rumble and make noise and scream and sing loudly and make different sounds with his voice and everything to get attention, because he'd know that when once I get on the camera, I'm not going to be giving him attention. I'm going to be with the people that are on the screen. And so very slowly I've come to teach him that no, now I'm going to go on the camera, you're going to keep quiet, then I do a video. And so, he's always trying to peep in, to spy in. And sometimes I can see he's curious, he's wondering, how come today the big mommy is not putting me in the camera? So sometimes I'll cheat him a bit and pretend that he's going to be in, and then he'll keep a bit quiet. And I like that. I think I have no problems with that. He's giving me such joy being around me, and I appreciate it so much. So a bit about you. When you're watching, where are you watching from? Who are you? One of the things that I've done here is actually, I think I did promise that I was going to open comments from people who are not subscribers, and I haven't done that. So I think that's one of the things that I should do. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I had said that I'm going to open, but I did not do that. Yeah, because I've put restrictions so that the only people who can comment while I'm online are subscribers, and you must have subscribed for a minimum of, I had set it to 1 hour, but I changed it to be 20 minutes. Okay, and now I can't see where I can't see where that is supposed to be. You'll excuse me because I'm very new in this, in live streaming, and then managing to know where some of these little dots, so to speak, are. So I can't quite get where that is. But I know, okay, if I don't get it now, then I'm going to, yeah, okay, yeah, let me see if it's the one. I'm going to change it in the next one, but that's a setting that I had put. And actually it's a recommendation. Okay. It's a recommendation that we are given by YouTube. So because that is to avoid persons sometimes that are not your subscribers who may come in and make comments that are not positive, and not just positive but abusive. And then the for that usually happen if you've been online, if you've been probably okay, comments on, oh okay, I've seen where that Okay, I've changed that. Okay, I'm unable to change that. I'm very sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm unable to change that since I've already started live streaming. But I can promise that I'm going to try and change that in the next live stream that I have. I'm going to change that. But for now, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know how to do that. I've tried, but I'm not able to. And now I cannot see where this screen has gone. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, I can see it's there, but I don't know how to get that. Yeah, so you're just going to excuse me. If I keep on messing with this, I might just shut off the live stream instead. That's it with the like, not just with live streaming, but with vlogging. You're always learning. You're always learning something new, and when you're learning, you're very prone to error. I actually cannot see the screen for where I am right now, and the fear I have for this is that when oops, oops, oops. Okay. Oh gosh, I thought I had turned the screen the other way. No, I think I should just stop this. So yes, I'm not able to change the settings to make it possible for people who are not subscribers to make comments on the channel. I'm probably going to be able to do that another time, but not now. Camera off. Switch off. This one off. Okay, almost switched off. Yes, I'm not going to be able to do that now, but you can always make a comment after the live streaming is off. At that point, anybody may make a comment when the live streaming has been posted as a regular video. But while I'm live streaming, I'm very sorry. I apologize that only people who've been a subscriber for a minimum of 20 minutes onto the channel can make a comment. That's my dogs keep barking, and I have absolutely no control over that. So you'll just have to pardon it. So when you're watching me, what is it that you'd like me to talk about sometimes? What is it that you'd like to see more of in my channel? One of the new things that I've done recently, skip. One of the things that I've done recently is that I've included details, my personal details for any channel help that anybody may wish to support the channel. And I think I've done in one of the videos, I've repeated actually in 2 videos, why it is that I'm doing this. Yeah, why it is that I'm doing this. Of course, I'd appreciate any assistance whatsoever, but some of the biggest, like now, currently, the most urgent need I have for financial assistance, especially because assistance is not only tied to finance, but currently one of the biggest issues I have is that I have donations that have been offered to my organization, but I'm unable to collect them. And because sometimes when I'm given donations, I'm given bulky donations, and people are in different parts of Nairobi. And in this case, the person that's giving the donation lives it's a distance. It's right across town. And you should remember, you should know, not you should remember, I'm sorry. You should know that Ruai is placed on the outskirts of Nairobi. Oh goodness. Okay. Yeah, that's going on well. Yeah, because I have the 3 uploading videos. I shouldn't forget that. Ruai is situated on the outskirts of Nairobi, towards one of the far ends of the city, towards the east. Yeah, towards the east. And this person is on the outskirts of Nairobi, on the other side, towards the west. Actually, they are not in Nairobi. I can call that Kajiado. Yes, I can call it Kajiado. It borders Nairobi. And so to pick up the goods, I need a pickup. The last time I went to the same direction, to the same place, the direction of the same place, to pick up sort of the same amount of goods, of contributions, of donations. The charge was 4,500 shillings. That in dollars is about approximately, I think, about 40 or $50. And that's not money that is easy for me to come by. And if and that time, was that a pickup? No, no, no. That was a big van. If I'm picking a pickup, because in this case I've been told I have to have a pickup truck, minimum of a pickup truck, and that would be around $50. And right now, like I've said, I'm in the middle of so much, and I'm helping out my sister with her child, and it's all from my little that I have in my pocket. And so my community project is also on its knees because we don't have funding. I don't have regular funding. So everything that I do for the community work has to come from my pocket. At the same time, I'm trying to develop this channel. Also, one of the things that is making me rush so much to make sure that I have monetization soon is that so that I can channel these funds into boosting my community work. What usually happens when I get these donations, and the donations in particular, if it is clothing, whether it's clothing accessories or whatever it is, first of all, I need to hire people to come and help me to sort. And then I also need to pay people to come and help me to clean. And then storage becomes also a problem. So getting rid of these things, actually, I think for those of you who may have been watching my videos from before, you'll know that one of the reasons I even stopped friends from making any more donations was that it got to a point where I was so overwhelmed by the donations I received, by the amount of work that was required. It was physically exhausting for me, and it actually took me down. I almost got sick because it was such heavy work that I was doing every day, every single day, waking up, sorting the clothes, calling the people who need to come and pick, making sure that I'm arranging so that every family gets. I have to find out the families that are listed. How many are there? How many men are there? How many children? What are the ages? What will each family? So because I could not let people come and pick the stuff here, I had tried asking people to just come, and then I'd lay the clothes on the seats, and I'd tell them, okay, each of you pick 5 items. And that became heavy because sometimes people would come in here with their children, and they'd not just want to pick the clothes and go. They'd say they were tired, they came from a far place, so that I had to serve them tea. And the children wanted to play, and then they'd start saying, no, would you give me 7 instead of 5 clothes? And can you do? And it was expensive and it was taxing. And so I started bundling up, knowing, because I have what can I say? I have records. Yeah, I have data of the families that I've assisted. And so I started instead calling them by family, family by family. And it is the women that I was in touch with the most. And so I'd know that in this family, there's this number of people and these ages and these sizes. And then just tell them, you come with a sack or come with a bag, and then I give it to the person who's come. But that also became so taxing, because a lot of times somebody would come here and say, no, I didn't come with a bag, and also we have our uncle who's at home, and I have an extra 3 children who are in the house. And people, when word gets round, and then I'm so thankful to my friends that have been making these donations and to my relatives, because I must say on a whole that the quality of items that I receive are first class. And so got round very fast that I was giving new clothes, I was giving very smart items, the shoes were beautiful, they were new, and some people now wanted to come and pick items of donation. There were bags that, I mean, there was the whole array of household products apart from furniture that was available for donation. And very sadly, I learned that some people were also coming for them to sell, but the work was just too exhausting. It was too exhausting, and it was day after day for months. And so I got to a point, and then the house became very crowded. I had piles of boxes in the bedroom. I have piles. My house is not big, it's just a one bedroomed house. And I had no more storage for the items. And so I stopped the donations, and thankfully by God's grace that has gotten finished. And so this time I'm taking with extra caution, because I've also added onto the list of persons and charities that I'm going to be able to give to is also displaced persons and refugees. Then that is going to hasten how fast I can dispense of them. What I'll give to the local community will be separate, and that can be done in probably within a week, that can be cleared. But to make the bulk of items go faster, I've spoken to persons that work with refugees and displaced persons, and I'll just be shipping boxfuls. And then that is going to assist, because I do not have space right now. And that's one of the reasons why we had so much urgency as a family to develop the house and probably increase about a few other rooms, so that when we get donations, because we saw from the first bulk of donations we received that it was impossible. And for me, who's the one that is staying here, then the house becomes very uncomfortable to live in, because you have so much baggage piled in the house. You don't know where to keep it. If I had a bigger house, probably fine. And one of the things we have in plan is that when we increase the house, we're going to have a storage room purely just for donations and to work as an office, because this is a home office. And so when you just have one bedroom, there's only so much you can do. And so you can imagine when you're getting sackfuls of clothes and you're getting boxfuls of items, and there's only this space. And so I can't afford that kind of discomfort again, in as much as I have all the love for community and for the work that I'm doing, but there must be some organization. And so this donation that I'm receiving, one of the reasons I'm receiving is because the organizations that I've spoken to who deal with displaced persons and who deal with refugees, they'll just do the rest of the handling that I'd normally do themselves. If there's anything for cleaning, if there's anything for repair, if there's they can do all that. So it reduces how the amount of work that I have to do, and then that leaves me here with much less to do. I mean, I just remain with a few items that I can give to community members. And right now, since we are not very operational, I know specifically just which families or which persons can receive what, and that's all that I'm going to keep. But no more bulk storage are here, which is going to give us problems, because also looking after the storage, that's a problem. Like now it's rainy season and I have nowhere to keep, so that means probably building a shelter. If I'm unable to just pick the items, then I'll be much less able to put up a new shelter, no matter how flimsy it is, even if it is just one of the metal roofing. I can't afford that. And I particularly have no storage possible here. But then receiving the donations and boxing them up and setting them off, and then the few remaining, giving to just a few select families who I know are greatly in need, that is going to be possible. And so that is one of the reasons why I went very fast to seek as an option for assistance through my channel. whatever comes my way, that is going to help a lot. Um, there's no limit as to what can be received or what can't be received. I've done a charity for a long time, and I've been receiving money, and most of it has gone into helping the families we were working with. But right now, I think just operationalizing the the organization is the biggest thing, because I also learned very fast that when you have staff working for you, it cannot be taken for granted that all the time people are going to be volunteering. Volunteering is very expensive because they have time. And then where we live, the pieces of land are very big. So if you say, I mean the staff that are enlisted to work with me live, if you're to measure in time, the time it takes, and especially in a season like this when it's a rainy season, if you ask people to come here even 3 times a week with no pay, just to come and help you to sort stuff and send them, it's being totally unfair on them. And so it got to a point where I felt I was not being fair to them. And at the same time, I could not do anything because we did not have funding. And so we agreed with the rest of the directors that we'd just have to put a pause to everything. And until we could get such money that when people come here, the rest of the staff, we could at least give them a stipend, something small in appreciation, even if it is just a day's wage for having come here to facilitate them getting transport back. Some of them are taking up to 2 hours just to get here. Some are leaving their families, and I can say that most of my staff, because I picked up people from community that I've worked with, some of them are people that have helped uplift from a situation, just like the vulnerable persons that we are working with. And so I understand the background they come from. I too cannot consider myself so comfortable as to never need help. And so when they come here, I very open to the fact that some of them might be living homes that have not a lot of surety about the meal for the next day. If their children going to school, they may be facing some challenges. And so it's quite in order that if I'm expecting them to come to work, then there should be some remuneration of some kind, even if it is not on a monthly basis, but at least on the basis of every day that they are working physically. They're coming here to the home office and working. And so that is one of the prime reasons for which I set up the details to request for financial assistance from me, my subscribers, and my viewers. It's coming to an hour. I don't think I'm going to do a full hour. I've been up a lot. I needed more than anything else to upload the videos that I've been doing for the days when I've not had Wi-Fi. And I also happened at the same time that we had okay, I can see one is about to, at the same time that we had a family function over the weekend. And while after that, because I had we all the family were meeting, and I had my grandson here and I had my nephew here. And when you're with babies, sometimes your mind is not quite totally at what can I say, at peak performance. And so my phone got spoiled. It had an issue before, but one of the babies got playing with it and it got spoiled. And so with a lot of urgency, my son assisted me with that one, with a phone that I could use temporarily until I repair mine. And it's taken me about actually the entire a week. Is it a week? Yeah, it's taken me almost a week to get the WhatsApp running. And I could not figure out what was the problem. And then I realized that WhatsApp doesn't allow you to download the app on 2 phones at the same time. And my other phone was still on, but I could not control the screen. I cannot control the screen whatsoever. And so I had to wait until the screen went off and the battery, and my other phone has a very long life battery. So it was just not going off. I wasn't using it. And until it went off, and then the new phone that I'm using stopped prompting me to ask me to download again onto the old phone. And so it accepted to download the WhatsApp. And this caused, so for a week I've had a lot of a lot of missed opportunity of either speaking to people, loading up stuff online. I've been online only for very few minutes, and then I've not been able to be on WhatsApp at all. And that makes a very big difference. And that's why I'm saying that I've been listening to radio at all, because that was now the channel that I could use to get news and everything else. And that's why I support the use of solar so much, because if I didn't have that, it's one big fear I always have, that what will happen one day if electricity is usually so centrally located, the supply of it in countries in very big regions. What will happen if one day, like now, the areas that are having the infighting going on, or the wars going on, attacks from other countries, because they normally target prime sources of power, of water. What happens if our power supply is hit? If you don't have any solar, what's going to happen? For me, lighting is so crucial, and getting information is so crucial, because the mobile phones are just going to be powerless without electricity. Yes, cooking, you might use gas, but even that at one point is going to get affected, because communication is so vital for the people, for the suppliers, between the suppliers and the sellers and the retailers and the buyers and everything. So having solar is very important. It's very prime for me, and not just for me, but I'd recommend anybody, if you're watching, try and get some gadgets that can utilize solar as an option. Even battery, we so often shun batteries, the old cell batteries, but it's coming to a time when that is going to be one of the few options that you have to consider in case of emergencies. Because I can't imagine what people are doing in Iran right now, in Afghanistan. Well, Dubai might be a superpower, but I mean a super efficient place in so many ways. But now, under threat of attacks, you wonder what's happening. Of course, there are zones that are so used to war. They've a very long time got used to the fact that old is good, and they've reverted back to very old gadgets that every home automatically has, because they've gotten used to the fact that at any time you don't have a source of electricity, at any one time your usual source of water is not available. So you start looking for alternatives, and you make them able to last long term. So what about us? At least here in Ruai, if the water source was cut off, we have so many wells. If the electricity source was cut off, well, a few people have solar power, but not all of us. But I think we should more and more get to that kind of thinking. If there was a curfew, what would you do about vegetables? Do you have anything edible in your compound? Are you able to do you even have a kitchen garden that even has a herb that you could feed on overnight if you are not able to go to the supermarket? The recent international attacks on different cities that we never thought would be attacked, on different countries that you didn't know could be involved in war, and how third-party countries are just getting drawn into wars between other nations, is just getting me worried. And I'm keeping on thinking, what contingency plans can I do, me as Josephine, for if this was to happen in Nairobi? You should never say never. You should never say never, because it can happen. I remember when I was in Uganda and people were telling me how it used to be during the war, how children would be at school and then bombing would start. And it puts you on a survival mode, and you very quickly learn what herbs can be used as medicine in the event that there are no pharmacies, that you can't go to a pharmacy. What can you use for a stomachache? What can you use to put on your wound? What can you use as to restrain diarrhea? What can you use if you have an ISO? What are you going to use if there's a certain, you've been using pesticides, but all of a sudden there are no pesticides because there are no supermarkets and there are no suppliers and there are no shops. So it's a way that we should start thinking going forward, because I can foresee that many more countries are going to get drawn into allyships. And out of allyships, there are nations which are going to have, I don't know, uh, are going to get, what can I say, are going to react very differently to maybe sister nations or neighborly countries siding with nations that are at war with them. And so, yeah, they are just third party countries that are going to get hit simply because they sided with the opposing factors. And as we pray for peace, take care of yourself. Learn how to take care of yourself. If push came to shove and you had nobody to rely on, not your credit card, not your phone, not your laptop, then what do you do? When we have to get down to the basics, eat what is available. What would you have that is available? Yeah. More and more, we must think of that. Are you one of those people who are so picky? If I go to the supermarket, I can only eat this brand of food. I can only eat this type of food. I can't eat this kind of, and it's not because of allergies or anything. I only want this type of rice, and I can only eat this type of vegetable. What if the source of all those special foods you like was closed down tomorrow? What would you do? Because if you ask people in war zones, they'll tell you they do not have a choice of rice. They do not have a special vegetable. You get to a point where you're almost you're displaced in your own country. You have nothing. You can't even choose that I like this kind of bottled water. No, it may come to be that you're having to drink from streams and you don't have any water purification system. So yeah, more and more, let's think about the people who are in absolute conditions of suffering, who, like us, would prefer that they had choices, who would wish to have choices, a choice over everything that they require. That's a basic need, not even a want, but they have absolutely none. And it is not their wish. Like I said, it is the result of a lot of world leaders making very wrong decisions, because war is not necessary. It's not a necessary. Sometimes, yeah, people argue that sometimes it's a necessary evil, but in all instances, there's an option to use dialogue rather than war. Be as it may, that's what there is. So I'm going to be closing this in the next 3 minutes. I appreciate having been here. I appreciate for those of you who've bypassed, even if so briefly. It's always a pleasure for me to have at least somebody pass by. That shows that someone is listening. For those of you who are going to be watching this later on, please let me know where it is that you're watching from. Please let me know what your views are on some of the things that we've spoken about here. Please let me know what you think about my videos, especially the playlists. I like to encourage people, if you're watching my videos, to watch my playlists. Is it about fun? Is it about my travels? Is it about my usual work life? See what it is that you like the best, and maybe suggest to me what I could do differently. Where I could go. There are places that at the beginning of last year, was it the beginning? No, towards the middle of last year, I had planned on going. I had done some videos. I was still a novice at editing and at shooting the videos. And so I made a lot of blunders. I did go to some places, but I was unable to publish the videos because sometimes I went and the battery went off. I didn't anticipate there'd be so much to see. And then in the excitement of it all, I wanted to catch every minute, not knowing that every minute means so much of battery power. And then so much of reels, of video reels, and then editing becomes so tough. And so I used videos of my relatives to shoot, and then some phones were not compatible to send the videos to mine and then edit them on. And I also didn't know a lot about editing. And so I lost a lot of footage. I lost a lot of opportunity. And it is my hope and prayer that this year And also with a bit of assisted financing, I'm able to go I'm going to be able to revisit some of these places. And then now I'm much better able to know what it is that I can vlog in a certain place, which videos are crucial to take. It's not everything that's important. And what I can capture as pictures, what I can capture as videos. At that moment, I was so excited. I just started take a video of everything. And I didn't have the knowledge I had now of calculation of how much time it's going to be, how much of the reel of every clip I can put on to make an entire video, and the relevance of it, and for the story to flow, how I have to take it. Because it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve all the time. But yeah, God willing, and if all goes well, I'm going to try and do that. But for now, I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I'm just doing to the best of my ability, what I'd like to do, which is make a video every day. And it will be very exciting because I'm at home and I can't do anything else because I have a child staying with me. And this child can't walk long distances. I have to carry him on my back. And it is very taxing. I'm not a young girl anymore. And so I'm limited as to where I can go, and I'm limited as to what I can do. But I'm not going to stop shooting vlogs. If this is not very interesting, I'll just urge you to not bear with me, but I'll just say that this is the only option I have. And so pick what you like. If you do not like my stay at home vlogs, look at my travel, or maybe watch my travel vlogs, maybe watch my opinion vlogs. That's different. But for my homestay, in my personal life, vlogging about my ordinary days, it's just going to be about me at home. If anything, it's just going to be a walking distance, not very far, but I'm not going to be doing very much. I think only once I went to the clinic and I went with him, and then that was taxing on me. I think I took 2 days to rest. So I can't afford to do that very often also, because I also have to take care of my own personal well-being. So thank you very much for staying with me here and for keeping attention. And I'm going to change the settings, as I've said, for only the next live streaming that I'm going to do. I'm going to open it this once for anybody to be able to comment. But unfortunately, after that, going forward, it has to be a subscriber who is able to comment, and there must be a subscriber for a minimum of 1 hour, which is almost as long as I take. But if it's somebody who had subscribed before, then they are able to comment. And I have to do that for safety reasons. It is what is recommended by YouTube Studio for YouTubers when you're vlogging, that at least put a limitation, because they know from experience, they have the data that sometimes people will come on, and because you're on the live stream, they might post anything, they might cause you harm. Of course, because I mean, what do you call it? Uh, Online hate is on very much. So it's just better to be safe than to be sorry. And so from wherever you are, from Nairobi, Ruai of magical Kenya, I say thank you for watching. Subscribe. May you tell a friend to tell a friend. Come again another time. Pardon me if I've not done what you'd have liked more of. If there's something you've liked that I've talked about, or if you like the way I presented myself, or if you are not happy with something, let me know. Like I said, comments are open to everybody once this is posted, and then it's an ordinary video. But while I'm doing the live stream, it's only limited to certain people. I appreciate you staying here to listen. And from wherever you are, from Nairobi, I say goodbye, and God bless you and guide you and greatly protect you. Oops, this is not closing. Oh.